Defending team champions in the Acura, Apex Motorsports. Defending Season 10 champion K-Dog and Bubba. And that is your full-time roster for the PRL's Project Cars 2 GT3 Championship Series. Tonight, the GT3 crew is in Italy to tackle the famed Autodromo Nazionale Monza. However, this is not the Monza layout you would expect for a GT3 race. Oh no, tonight we're tackling the short circuit of Monza. What does that mean? 4 corners, mile and a half long. The guys are going to cut down halfway across the front stretch, take a stroll through the woods, enter down the back stretch, race around the parabolica, back to the start-finish line. We're talking about 46, 47 second laps. The action is going to be tight, white-knuckled, bumper to bumper. The most brave, the most persevered, and the most focused will be taking the checker flagged home tonight. Coming off the parabolica, you're going to have a ton of speed. Most cars are going to find themselves in 6th gear before they go heavy on the brakes for turn 1. This is going to be a prime passing opportunity as you cut into the woods. You're going to veer more to the right. You're going to have a sharp left where the rear end can kick out, so drivers are going to have to be careful. Then you're going to swing it back to the right, and you're going to want to push it. You're going to scuff the tires pretty hard because now you're back on the backstretch. Carrying as much speed as possible. If there's a car in front of you, you're tucked in right behind. You're gaining the benefit of the slipstream. Now, as you hit about 75 meters or so, time to get on the brakes. About medium for the parabolica. We're going to see a lot of guys go a medium lane to a high lane, trying to carry as much speed as possible. Come off the parabolica, you're going to pass by the entrance to pit road, and you're flying. The start-finish line, though, is still a little bit of ways down, so we can have a drag race to the finish if we find second place willing to make a move. And there you have it, just 46 seconds. Lightning quick laps that we're going to see at Monza. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Precision Racing League's American PS4 Project Cars 2 GT3 Championship Series. I'm your host for this evening, Hootius. Out there in Twitch land, you know me as Old Man Hoot. Season number 11, round number 6. The checkered flag tonight marks the halfway point of the season. And boy howdy do we have an event for you folks tonight. This happened a couple seasons ago. We're now reliving the danger. Back in Season 8, we kicked off the season in this crazy manner. So halfway through Season 11, it's time to put the lights on, get the sun out of the way, throw in the headlights, cutting Monza in half. And we are short track racing tonight, folks, in the GT3 cars. Now, what we've done so far this season is, since qualifying goes on a little bit long, and this broadcast is all about the drivers of the PRL, so we've been doing these kind of interview segments with drivers, so that way our fans get to know them a little bit better, a little bit more personally. So we've done Jaja, we've done Excise. Now it's time to sit down with the champ. While everybody is cranking out their qualifying laps, let's take a few minutes and get to know K-Dog a little bit better. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your pre-race driver showcase. Tonight we have Kyle Spencer, but you know him as your Season 10 champion, K-Dog Honda 777. K-Dog, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Wow! Pretty good.
The sound of a champion. But what we've been doing this season with these driver interviews is K-Dog is at Monza Short tonight. We're going to throw him in the back of the pack here. We have 15 very pissed off AI cars that are really slow. So we're going to have K-Dog see if he can survive 5 laps with us bugging the hell out of him. So, first and foremost, K-Dog, let's talk about the season ahead. You have traded wins with Excise. You've won 3 to his 2. How do you rate your performance so far compared to, coming off a championship season? As everybody log jams in front of you.
Expectations are right where they are from what I want this season. There could have been a few better performances in the 2 races that weren't wins, but we raced for a reason.
Well, let's talk about one of those non-wins. Obviously, it was Pinocchio. The only race you have not podiumed this season is that Porsche just doored the hell out of you. Oh, I sent you sideways. Oh, no, you just got it back. But so Banachbray, everybody knew that race was going to be a crapshoot. Is there any other track on the schedule that you have circled to be like, I can't let this one get the best of me?
Laguna Seca is always one of them for me, just because it's kind of a hometown track. It's just because I'm California, so it's always one. If it's on the schedule, it's one that I circle.
Which has been bittersweet for you because there was an unfortunate lag incident that wiped you out from the lead. But then the next time you showed up, you wrecked while, I believe, like battling for third, and then came back and finished second. So while you want the win there, it's kind of, it's kind of gone both ways for you. So what would be your expectation? Do you want that checkered flag now? Like, need to get that Laguna Seca win?
I do indeed. It's held me back from a few of them.
Jesus, dude. Just lick the stamp. Dude, that Porsche went flying. You didn't even have a chance. I thought I had visual damage on. That's bull. Oh, man. Wait till you see that dude go cartwheeling. That was great.
But it's time for a Laguna Seca one, I would say yes.
So, speaking of wins, you have 10 of them across 3 different series in the PRL. What's your number one win? Which one stands out to you the most?
Le Mans.
That would have been your championship clincher at the end of season 10.
My championship clincher because it's the first driver's championship that I've won, and it'll stay up there and keep on ranking if I keep getting more drivers championships to compare it.
Indeed. Did you just wipe that guy out?
No, he breaks.
I'm going to Stewart the hell out of you for these AI cars. Alright, but also, too, along with being a racer, K-Dog is my wrestling buddy. So let's talk about it. It's fresh on everybody's mind, SummerSlam. Teasing Braun Strowman, giving the belt to Roman, no payoff. Worst booking decision or worst ever booking decision?
Oh boy.
I was pretty irritated at freaking 11:15 last night after watching that for 6 hours.
It is what it is. It's WWE being WWE, Vince being Vince, still trying to push Roman Reigns as the golden boy and put him over with the crowd, and the crowd doesn't want it.
Could he ever come back from the crowd after suffering succotash?
No. The only way he gets the crowd on his side is possibly turning heel, which everyone wants him to turn heel, and I don't see it happen.
I think just so we're justified in booing him. Good times. Alright, there we go. K-Dog managed to not die from AIs and kill a couple on his own there. So good job, buddy. But
hey, some was my fault. As Gene Snitsky would say.
Oh god. Not Snitsky. But hey, my man, I want to thank you so much for taking the few minutes out and having a little bit of fun. And everybody out there in Twitch Island, there, you now know a little bit more about your Season 10 champion, K-Dog Honda. And there you have it, folks. You got to know K-Dog a little bit better. And again, I want to thank the defending champion for taking the few minutes out, spending the time, and doing what could be an awkward moment, yet we got to have fun with it. Yet I still do not like the fact that he smashed that Porsche. That was a pretty car. Now, we are deep into qualifying. We have 3.5 minutes left. But, as we saw, we're talking 46, 47-second laps. So we still got plenty of time. What we're going to do real quick is let's jump to the charts. Let's recap. So, first, we're going to start out with the Drivers' Championship. After Bathurst last week, K-Dog took the lead back from Excise. That dominating performance he had. He takes the top spot and has 9 points over Excise. The rest of the top 10 look pretty much the same as the week prior, except Puma was able to jump Senile for 9th place. Now for the team championship. Apex Motorsports Redline still 1-2, no change there. We see Barely Capable jump the best team. However, this is where it's going to get tricky now for that battle for 3rd. The best team is a full team now. It's been Jaja for most of the season. Doge has jumped in the Lamborghini. So that's going to be a highly, highly contested battle there. Also, we see Tough Bob. Unfortunately, shout out to Double Tough. Work scheduling has gotten in the way. He's had to drop out. So at least a Bob by himself in the Porsche. We see Tough Bob has taken that hit, dropped 2 spots down to 8. Orange Code and Wall Riders both jump up. And shout out to Wall Riders. It has been Brian all this season, but he is going to have a buddy from NASCAR joining him, as the Wildebeest is making his GT3 debut. There he is. You see the second Hot Wheels Audi, currently sitting at P11. All right, now that we've gotten those recaps out of the way, we need to talk tonight. So, currently sitting P1 with under 2 minutes to go, Austin. He was fast in practice as well. Barnstorm, who we did not see put down a practice lap, currently sitting P2. Our points leader, K-Dog, P3. His closest competitor in the points, Excise, P4. And look at these gaps. It's absolutely ridiculous. The top 4 are almost within a 10th of one another. Matter of fact, you'll have to go all the way down to 10th place before you see a full second gap. And I know guys like Bubba, who's sitting down in P12 right now, I know he has a lot more time in that Acura to dish out. He could get within the second. Same with Wildebeest. Same with Dre. Now with Habab, though, and Drew, even if they get their times up there, they unfortunately do have penalties for track limits. Oh, and Habab has issues himself as the fender is ripped off that Porsche. He's back into the pits as we're now under a minute. So guys in the pits, they are not going to have time to start a fresh lap. Guys out on the track will still be able to do it. Matter of fact, K-Dog, that's going to be it for our points leader. He can do no better than 3rd. Doge has parked it in the Lambo in 5th. You got Excise still out there turning laps. Barn out there. He's trying to get his first career pole. Austin, same as well. Jaja and Tommy, currently 6th and 7th. Senile is still out there. So we still have half the field out there trying to run laps. Here comes Bubba. He's going to cross the line. He's going to have time to do another lap. We'll see Kenny improve from 12th place. 1/2 of the current team championship leaders. No, he can't, but he has another shot at it. All right, here we go. The pole sitter coming around the Parabolica. This is going to be it. He is not going to have time for another lap. Can he create a bit of a buffer between Barn and himself? No, he cannot. He did not better his time. Here comes Barn out of the Parabolica. Can he get that 10th of a second that he needs? More realistically, 8/100ths of a second. Can he do it? No, he cannot. He is going to stay P2. All right, we've got Senile out there. His turnaround Parabolica. Currently setting P10. Just a hair of a second outside of the pole time. Senile representing Orange Cone Racing solo tonight. Shout out to Sandman. Fortunately, suffering from the flu, so not able to join us. I know in a race he desperately wanted to be a part of, but as always, health first, video game second. So shout out to Sandman. Hope for a quick recovery. Senile does not improve his time. Bubba is done. And there we go. Dre just crossed the line, and that is going to be it for qualifying. Austin Taylor snagging the pole. Barn second, K-Dog third, Excise fourth, Doge rounds out your top 5. Jaja, Tommy, Puma, Brian Mosser, and Senile round out your top 10. And then Wildebeest, Bubba, Dre, Drew, and Habab are going to round out the rest of the field. 15 out of 16 possible spots are full tonight. This is a short track. It is going to be wild. Once we progress, then comes the 2-minute ready-up period. Drivers are going to be able to make their adjustments. A lot of them running insanely low fuel there for qualifying. So they got to make sure they get the right amount of fuel in. And with the wear and tear that they're going to put on these cars tonight, it's not going to be a total shock that we're going to see hard tires out there. They got to make them last. Even though it's night, even though it's cool, there's going to be a lot of pressure, especially on those left side tires, especially around Parabolica, where you're staying over 100 miles an hour the entire time. While everybody is getting themselves ready, customarily, we're going to jump back to 5th place. We're going to hop on the roof of the Lamborghini of Doge. He is going to take us into turn 1. Now, turn 1 is going to be super tricky. You don't really have lights on the inside. Everybody's going to be gaggled. Everybody is going to have to show patience, or else there could be a huge mess, and it could ruin a lot of guys' races early. Now, we're talking about the top 10 within a second of one another. Normally in oval racing, a second is huge. Absolutely, you can't understate how big of a gap a second is on ovals. This is not your traditional oval. So, a second here, you have a bad run coming through the woods onto the backstretch, or a bad entry, or you go wide on the Parabolica. That is a second right there. So it just goes to show how tight this field is going to be tonight. The slipstream, the draft is going to be real. These guys are going to be flying everywhere except, it's a little bit slow through the woods. They're going to be flying everywhere, though, so they will get that speed boost. And here we go. Everybody is readied up. 15 drivers on the grid. We've got the lights. And we're green! Oh no! Issues with Doge! Doge did not go, and he got rear-ended off the start. We're going to keep the camera on here. Look up front. Barn trying to make a move to the inside. Doge pushes too hard. He got to the back there of Senile. Senile whipped around. Going to the trackside cameras. Doge falls straight to the back. Tough break for the Lambo driver. Going through the woods now. Everybody is bunched up. We got Habab making up some spots early. Up front, Barn was able to get around Austin. K-Dog as well. Austin's trying to fight back on the outside. He's going to tuck in behind K-Dog. X-Ice holds his spot in 4th position. Barn with a nice early lead. Austin's looking to make a run on K-Dog. K-Dog's going to defend that inside. Austin with a swift move to try to go even more inside, but look at the Mercedes power. X-Ice blows by Austin. He really had a shot, too, to go K-Dog into turn 1. Thought better of it, didn't want to push the issue. The Mercedes strength is flexing early in this race. Barn in the lead. X-Ice races his way up to 3rd. We got Puma in 5th, Jaja in 6th, Tommy up to 7th. We got Brian 8th. Bubba was a big winner off that craziness at the start. He has jumped up to 9th place. And you see it, here is the entire field in one camera shot on the backstretch. We had some beating and banging going on, but everybody is still right there, though Bubba is showing a little bit of crunkling on the front of his Acura. K-Dog now starting to get into a groove. He's got a couple of car lengths between himself and X-Ice, but there's the draft cutting through the air. You're seeing that Mercedes close in. X-Ice has that straightaway power. He was talking about the Mercedes, the weak point of the Mercedes is through the woods. So, and you see it as Austin closes up on the back of him. Able to hold that position, and then he can easily hold the rest of the way, but Austin's going to make a move. Austin to the inside of X-Ice. Great run for Austin. He's going to take 3rd. X-Ice tucks in behind him 4th. You got Puma holding on steady there in 5th as well. Let's go to the back of the pack real quick. Doge still finds himself in 14th place. We've got Senile, who we saw got spun into the woods. He is back in 15th. Senile, I believe, having some car issues, hence the flashing lights. But Doge tucked in behind Dre right now. Got the Speed Syndicates of Ferraris, Dre and Drew, currently 12th and 13th. Let's go back up front. As Barn had issues, K-Dog has gotten around him. So we had a change up front. 3rd and 4th, still holding steady. Austin trying to catch up to our leaders now. We're looking. I don't see any damage on the front. Oh, no! Oh, no! K-Dog had issues. Barn had to go wide to avoid him. So 1-2, both had costly driver errors. Austin's going to take the lead. X-Ice is tucked in right behind him. Puma's going to move up to 3rd. Jaja to 4th. Tommy to 5th. K-Dog falls all the way down to 10th. Barn to 11th. Barn in 9th. So that was a case of K-Dog on the inside, lost the rear end. Barn whipped out to the outside of the Parabolica. He lost his rear end, and 1-2 both drop 8 positions. Tough break up front. And that's what we talked about. This track's so small, the laps are so quick. One mistake is absolutely huge. There's some tracks out there where you can have a 5, 6, 7 second mistake, and it costs you maybe a spot. Not here, it costs you half the field. Barn now closing in on the back of the Hubbub. This is the battle for 8th place. X-Ice looking at the Deltas. He's on the back of Austin, the battle for the lead. See a couple car lengths. Austin trying to power through the woods as quick as he can. He wants to create as much of a gap as possible. That way that Mercedes power cannot benefit from the slipstream. We see the yellow and white car. That's Senile, who unfortunately had to make pit stop early. We saw the spin that he was involved in lap 1. Fortunately, had extensive car damage to that Acura. Had to get it repaired. He's back out there running. We still have a whole lot of time to go. Oh, no, and we've got issues in the woods. It's Drew. He has whipped his Ferrari around. He's got it going before the leaders come up. So the Speed Syndicate driver is going to swap spots. Dre is now the leading Ferrari. He's the last car really on the tail, if you will. And Drew had to retire his Ferrari. The suspension was broken. He could not get it out of the way carefully. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for the second Speed Syndicate driver. There's our first DNF of the race. Austin right now. Actually, this is great for Austin. Our leader getting the benefit of the draft off of Senile, the lap car. Just able to pick up several miles per hour on that backstretch, making sure he doesn't allow X-Ice to take advantage. Got to give a big shout out, Puma, currently in the final podium spot. He's not had the start to the season that he's wanted. This would be a huge race if he can keep this position going for him. You got Jaja in 5th. Puma's teammate Tommy, Jaja in 4th. Puma's teammate Tommy in 5th. Barely capable right now, running 3rd and 5th. They would love to have a great finish to try to get him closer to the top 2 teams. Matter of fact, Tommy taking a peek to Jaja there. Coming out of the woods, Jaja was able to hit that final corner a little better, put some space between himself. But that Audi is running strong down the backstretch, and we had a spin. I believe that was Habab. I saw a yellow car spin in the background. Unfortunately, Habab whipped around, and was that... Oh, that was Bubba with him. Oh, issues in the back. So Bubba, who had a good early start, and Dre, too. Dre goes wide. Comes across the corner, just sees cars everywhere, so he had to take evasive action. That's extra damage to the Ferrari. But tough break for Bubba, who was able to get around that first lap pretty well, gain some positions, but now gave them all back. Our previous leaders, Barn. He's found himself now up to 7th. He's gained a few spots. He's 10 seconds back to the lead. Last time around, he was pretty much tied with Austin for fastest lap. K-Dog a little bit off pace. Now he's green, though, so K-Dog must have just been trying to get through slower cars. K-Dog now trying to pick it back up. He was the leader when he spun. Here we go, back up front. Our leaders have gotten around the lap car of Senile, and this has allowed X-Ice to close that gap. Look at the run that the Mercedes is having on the front stretch. He just peeks to the inside, doesn't make a dive for it. Austin's going to hold the top spot for now. This is all the fun that you're missing, Sandman. I knew Monza Short would be this kind of race. It was crazier in Project Cars 1 as well because there was a tire barrier chicane on the front stretch that was absolute murder. I really like this layout better without that chicane. You have the speed, you have the draft. Even though that chicane, quote-unquote, presented a passing opportunity, it really didn't. It presented a dive bomb opportunity. So this is going to be much more of a, in my mind, real race. Let's go back to 3rd now. So Puma has had issues. Puma has slid back to 5th place. Jaja and Tommy have gotten around him. So that happened 2 laps ago. That time, actually, Puma went green. So he's got speed. He's trying to catch back up to Jaja and Tommy. And, a matter of fact, what we're going to do, we're going to hop on the roof of the Audi of Tommy. This is the battle for third. He is right on the tail of Jaja. And I'll keep an eye on that Delta up there for first. X-Ice is keeping about a half second back. Not much has changed up there. Barn now finds himself in 6th place. He's gotten around. Oh, no! Oh, okay. I thought Jaja lost it on the inside. His car vanished. I thought I saw the rear end rip a little bit. But Jaja holds it steady. He just gives the announcer a little bit of a scare there. Tommy taking a peek to the inside. Just letting Jaja know he's there. We look back. Puma has now closed that gap. We've got a 3-car battle. Oh, Jaja with some wheel spin. He could not accelerate the way he wanted to. That gave Tommy a peek. They're side by side going onto the backstretch. This is great for Puma. Neither of them could accelerate the way they wanted. Puma could run his line. And look at this. Still side by side for third. The Lambo poking up just a little bit more ahead on the straightaway. Going into the Parabolica. Still side by side. Oh, this is what it was. It was a lag issue that made me think Jaja had a bit of a hiccup. So his car did bounce a little bit. Luckily, no netcode contact between himself and Tommy. Puma with a great run out of Parabolica. He's going to make the move to the inside of his teammate. Tommy's going to let him have it. Nope. Tommy comes back on the outside with a late break. Oh, we've got contact between the two. Tommy cut down short. He came across his teammate's notes. Barn was on the outside. It was a 4-car battle, and we didn't know. Oh, no. Puma backed out into traffic. There was K-Dog to T-bone him. No, K-Dog Bob guy. That was Brian Mosser. Unfortunate for Brian, and very unfortunate for Puma. His car is sideways on the track. That all started with Tommy just cutting too far across the inside, clipped the nose of his teammate, whipped it around, and as you can see, like, that turn 1 is blind. Nobody had any idea what's happening. I'm wondering now if now Puma is out of the racing line. Will Tommy or somebody else come and tip Puma over? No, Puma just retired it. That is our second DNF. Tough break for guys paddling it out for the podium spot. My heart goes out to Puma. Was that Barn spinning in the background? It was. Barn has raced his way up to 4th, had a spin leaving the woods. So now K-Dog takes 4th, Barn to 5th. Jaja in 3rd. All that carnage happened behind him there in turn 1. So the Lambo of Jaja is looking pretty right now. 10 seconds back of the leader. X-Ice and Austin are checking out early on this race. He's got K-Dog and Barn, though, catching her from behind, so Jaja's got to keep the focus. But again, just a miscalculation on Tommy's part. And then really, I feel terrible for Puma, for Brian Mosser. Where they spun, it's just a blind corner going in. I don't know how K-Dog got by. There was unfortunately no chance for Brian to get by. He was the one who T-boned Puma that flipped him on his side, so absolutely heartbreaking accident that we had in turn 1 there that led to our second DNF. Puma battling for 3rd. And, yeah, buddy, actually, we were on top of your roof when all of that happened, my man. You were having a hell of a run. I was so heartbroken to see that. All right. Evasive action happened to be taken there in turn 1. I believe that was Bubba. Yeah, unfortunately, Bubba nosed it into the turn. The guys had to get around him. No harm, no foul, except for the front of that Acura, who is now missing a headlight. Bubba had a promising start to this race, but it went back quick. And exiting the woods, Austin had issues. X-Ice pounced. X-Ice has taken the lead back in this race. Again, 1-2, nose to tail. Got to go 10 seconds back to Jaja on 3rd. K-Dog is catching Jaja now. He's about 3 seconds back. Barn is about 3 seconds back of K-Dog. Here comes Bubba in the pit. Without a doubt, his Acura was heavily damaged. We saw Doge have those issues early where he spun pretty much going into turn 1, had to go dead last. He has raced his way up to 6th. Brian Mosser is having a promising run. Unfortunately, took the blind turn 1. Puma was there. There was the T-bone. You see the damage to the front of that Audi. Brian's still holding strong in 7th, though. His teammate Wildebeest in 8th in his debut race. He is seeing an insane amount of action. Wildebeest is a NASCAR guy, so he's used to this, but I don't think he was expecting this kind of action in GT3. Here we go, down the front stretch. X-Ice trying to cut the slipstream off of Austin, who has a run. Austin not quite there. Had to back it off into turn 1. I don't want to speak too soon either, but from my point of view, it looks like he came across your nose, yeah. It was, to be honest, it was razor thin. Like, it was just barely your front fender to his rear fender, but yeah, it was a crappy situation that, you know, a 1-inch gap led to all that mayhem. And here we go, coming out of the Parabolica, Austin with a great run on the inside. X-Ice holding to the outside, trying to use that Mercedes power, and he will. He will hold Austin off this time around. Austin tucks back in, tries to get a little bit of slipstream. No move to be had in turn 1. I'm going to keep my eye on the leaderboard and the gaps as they rise and fall, but have to keep the camera on the top spot right now. Austin and X-Ice have been this close the entire time since Barn and K-Dogs had their self-spins in Parabolica. And this time, exiting the woods, Austin with a huge run. X-Ice is going to fight back on the outside. They're wheel-to-wheel as they enter Parabolica. X-Ice enjoys the high line through here. We've seen Austin try to attack on the inside. Austin's going to have the clearing, but X-Ice is going to have the miles per hour advantage. Matter of fact, here he goes. X-Ice gets a little bit of slip. He's going to go back to the outside. Austin's going to protect the inside. I can't tell if that's Tommy. Yeah, that's got to be Tommy because unfortunately Puma's out. But we got Tommy a lap down right now. He wants to get up there. He's made his pit stop. He can run the rest of the way if he can keep those tires fresh. But right now he's stuck behind this battle for the lead. Yeah, you did have the line, Puma. You did. Like I said, though, I mean, it wasn't like it was tire on tire. I mean, and I don't even know if it was corner panel on corner panel. I think it was more so just like corner panel caught the furthest out that your nose touched. It was really thin, and I was kind of hoping that Tommy would have spun himself. But unfortunately, there was just nowhere to go where that happened in turn 1. X-Ice with a run down the front stretch. Is he going to force the issue? No, he's going to break a little early, tuck back in behind Austin. He's going to wait till he has a better run. We've had all this insanity happen, and we're not even 20 minutes into this race yet. We're at the 17-minute mark. We still have over 28 minutes to go. McSendit, what's going on, brother? Oh, I love this layout. This is non-stop action at Monza Short. You take a nice little hike through the woods, and other than that, it is balls to the wall, front stretch, back stretch, Parabolica. All right, X-Ice falls a couple car lengths behind, but again, we notice he does have that straightaway power. He'll close in a little bit. We've got to go back to the battle for third, though. Jaja is now under attack. There's K-Dog. Remember, K-Dog was leading this race early. He spun himself in Parabolica on the inside. He fell all the way back to 10th place. He survived the lap 1 mayhem wreck. Got by it unscathed. He's now bringing the fight to Jaja. Barn was running second. He was on the outside of K-Dog when K-Dog has his spin. Barn had his own self-spin, trying to go wide to make sure he gave K-Dog room. They were running 1-2. They fell all the way down to 9-10. Now they're racing their way back up, trying to battle for a podium. You see Jaja, you see K-Dog, and there's Barn. And then behind Barn is Doge. We got 2 lap cars and then Doge. Remember, Doge started 5th. Stalled on the line, got rear-ended, got spun around in turn 1, fell all the way to dead last 15th spot. He's raced his way back up to 6th. Back up front, Austin has a couple more car lengths still on X-Ice, but now lap cars are coming into play. Got Bob up ahead. I can't tell if that's Brian. Yep, that would be Brian Mosser, 7th place, right in front of our leaders. So Austin and Excise setting a blistering pace very early in this race, trying to get half the field lapped. No, I completely understand, Puma. There's not much other to say than, oh, Austin missed his turn 1. Excise was there. Austin was able to close the door. But yeah, that was nothing of your own doing, buddy. The only thing I can tell you is pour yourself a glass of wine and enjoy it with me. Because that's about the only thing that might help us taking the edge off. All right, down the backstretch. That Audi, I believe, was that Brian Mosser. Actually, no, that could be Brian Mosser. Yeah, that was Brian Mosser. So hats off to Brian Mosser, as I like to try to talk about every race, every chance possible, the sportsmanship that we have here in this league. Yes, things get heated. Guys can have, issues not of their own causing that could ruin the race, but the sportsmanship is there. Brian got damaged in a wreck that he didn't start. 7th place, a lap down, moves over for the leader, serves those blue flags just beautifully. Hats off to him. That's what I love to see in this league. All right, while we're watching up front, Jaja has pitted. Jaja has given up 3rd place. K-Dog has inherited 3rd. Barn in 4th. Trying to close in K-Dog. It's now just 2.5 seconds. Separate the former leaders of this race. So Jaja falling all the way back to 6th. Getting fresh tires. No fuel. Our top 5 still have yet to pit. I believe Brian Mosser has yet to pit. Wildebeest has pit. So we're looking at our top 5 and 7th place. As a matter of fact, here comes Brian. So Brian is in. That just leaves our top 5 to do their mandatory pit stop. Austin gets another car length, but Excise still right there to pounce if Austin has a slip up. Austin, actually, speaking of slipping up, goes wide, gets into the grass, and here comes Excise with a run down the backstretch. He's looking to the inside. Side by side into Parabolica. Austin trying to keep that speed up on the outside. Excise has him cleared. Austin's going to have the run, though. He's going to have the slipstream. Which lane does Excise defend? Austin right on his tail. Though that Mercedes power showing off right there. Austin could not get the run that he hoped for. Excise is going to hold 1st place. Now back onto the backstretch. Austin almost got the grass there again. Excise going to the inside. Not to defensive drive, though, to try to get slipstream. Habab out there doing the right thing, getting off the racing group, trying to get away from the leaders, but the leaders want that draft. Excise tucking in behind the Porsche. All right, next time around, time-wise, we'll be about halfway in this race. And this is what we were expecting, around 55, 56 laps in this layout. This is the start of lap number 28. Austin got a podium last week at Bathurst. He's hungry, trying to get that first career win. Excise picked up his first career win in round number 3 at Bannockbury. And then wanted a little icing on top of the cake, 1 week number 4 at Imola. He's currently sitting 2nd in points, K-Dog in 3rd. Excise knows that he can regain the championship lead with a win tonight. And tie K-Dog with 3 wins apiece. We've only had 2 winners so far through 5 races in the season. But Austin is trying to make it 3 as he is right on the tail, exiting the woods down the backstretch. There he goes. He's going to swing out. No, he's going to tuck back in. The Mercedes just showing some great top-end speed toward the end of these straightaways. We're still waiting for our top 5 to pit. And here we go. Excise is in. Excise gives up the lead. He is coming in. So Austin stays out. Let's find third place. K-Dog. K-Dog is staying out. How about Barn? He is coming in. Barn is coming in. We're going to jump back to 5th place in the other Lamborghini Doge. Around Parabolica, he is going to stay out. Doge is going to overtake both Mercedes. So now our top 3 drivers are the only ones who still have to serve their mandatory pit stop. And here comes our leader. Austin is in. We're going to keep an eye on Excise as he leaves the pits. Excise has 1 lapped car, several car lengths ahead. That's going to be Dre. One thing that could help Excise, if he can get a good run coming out of the woods, try to benefit. Oh, Dre had issues leaving the woods. He pulled over. I was going to say if Excise could get some draft off of Dre, but I think actually Dre was trying to serve that blue flag in advance, doing the very sportsman thing. Hats off to Dre. I think Excise wouldn't have minded if he would have stayed on the gas a little bit more, see if Excise could get a couple miles per hour. Austin creeping down pit road. Excise flying out of the Parabolica onto the front stretch. Here's the drag race. And there you go. You see Excise with a full head of steam. He is going to get back on Austin. Remember, Excise was the leader. So not only has he kept his spot, he has gapped Austin. That is huge for Excise. They were nose to tail. And now there's almost 2 seconds between our leaders. Alright, so now just K-Dog and Doge. The only 2 left to pit. Both having to overcome adversity early in this race. We spoke about it. K-Dog was the leader. He spun in Parabolica. No car damage, but fell all the way down to 10th. Doge stalled on the line, got rear-ended, spun in turn 1, fell all the way down to 15th. They find themselves 1-2 right now, but they will get cycled out of those positions when they pit. What we're going to keep an eye on right now is this gap. Excise and Austin. As a matter of fact, Excise is going green. Less fuel in the car, fresh tires. Austin, though, is within range. You see him right there, that red car in the back. He'll benefit a little bit from the slipstream. Excise has just got to keep it going. Oh, no. Exactly what K-Dog did earlier. Now it's Excise's turn. Excise whipped it on the inside of the Parabolica. He's going to turn it back around, but he has nose damage, and that's going to give the lead to Austin when pit cycles go through. And not only that, a huge advantage for this young man, as Excise made a costly mistake. Not only that, now he is looking at about 34-35 second gap to K-Dog. That's going to bring K-Dog pretty close into the pit delta. Excise is still having position, but K-Dog is going to close in. All right. While all this is playing out, let's run through the field. So we've talked about K-Dog. We've talked about Doge. Talked about Austin. We talked about Excise. Jaja, currently sitting 5th. He was running 3rd earlier in this race. He benefited when unfortunately the barely capable teammates got together in turn 1 directly behind him. Jaja was able to avoid all the carnage. He doesn't have the pace he may necessarily want. He's got good pace. He would still maybe like a half second, but he's keeping that car clean and pointing in the right direction, and that is big for this race tonight. Barn. Unfortunately, Barn has pitted, so he's looking to gain some spots when it cycles. Oh, no. Barn issues in Parabolica into the tire barrier. Crunches that driver's side. He's going to keep it going, though. So Barn started 3rd. Leading early in this race. Traded with K-Dog. K-Dog had his spin. Barn had his. Barn fell all the way to 9th. Was able to recover, but unfortunately has had a couple of mistakes like we just saw. Currently finds himself in 6th. Out of position for when K-Dog and Doge pit to gain ground. Tommy Unfortunately, we were on top of his teammate when the incident in turn 1 happened. Tommy and Puma were attacking Jaja for third. When it appeared Tommy just misjudged, came across the nose of his teammate, spun, and unfortunately turn 1 is a blind corner and chaos happened. So Tommy suffered some car damage. He now finds himself in 7th. Wildebeest in his debut. Like I said, he's a NASCAR guy, but this is not the kind of oval that he's used to. But having a great run right now in 8th. His teammate Brian Mosser in 9th, right behind him though. So the Wall Riders Incorporated drivers trying to have a good finish. They might duke it out a little bit before this one's over. We got Senile, who unfortunately also had edge issues turn 1, lap 1. He's trying to recover. He finds himself P10. Habab, we see the front of that Porsche. Fortunately, is pretty crunched in. And then he's going to give a little door love. And I couldn't tell if that was Brian. No, that was K-Dog. So K-Dog gets by. And speaking of Bubba, finds himself in 12th place. And unfortunately for Bubba, we've seen several incidences. A couple times leaving the woods. Down in P12. And then Drake, our last car running, currently in 13th. With our 2 DNFs being Puma and Drew. Alright, so Doge is pitted. And it cycled Doge down to 5th place. Though he's only 3 seconds behind Jaja. As we look in on 3rd place, our former leader, X-Ice. That spin in the Parabolica cost him 12 seconds. Now, last time also as well, Austin was a half a second faster than X-Ice. That was a pretty big slide. Did some flat spotting on the tires, crumbled in that nose a little bit on the inside wall. But X-Ice has just got to keep his nose down and fly. That's the only way if he wants a shot back in it, but we're seeing the red deltas. That time around, he was over a second slower than Austin. Our points leader, K-Dog, the last car in the lobby to pit. Not a shocker. This is about a weekly occurrence for the points leader. He gets the best tire wear. He actually likes those old tires on light fuel. Currently the leader, but when he does pit, he is going to cycle down, though. It looks like he'll cycle down to about 3rd place. Possibly might have a shot at 2nd with the laps that X-Ice is running right now. We'll have to see. K-Dog not really trying to rush to pit. As you see, he's in the red, but still running competitive laps. The thing is with K-Dog is when he pits, where does he come out at? Right now he's got clean racetrack. You don't want to risk pitting, and then all of a sudden now you're in a gaggle and you can't run your line the way you want to. You find yourself running slower laps. That's what K-Dog's contemplating right now. I'm sure he would love a fresh set of tires with only 27 liters in that car. But where does that put him on the racetrack compared to everybody else? Currently only 3 cars on the lead lap. We see there's a train on the backstretch led by the green Lamborghini of Jaja in 4th place. He is the first car a lap down. However, he will get that lap back when K-Dog pits. Alright, and the teammates have swapped positions. Brian Mosser grabs P8. He's overtaking Wildebeest. And we saw in the background Habab moving over. That was Doge in 5th place, trying to catch up to his teammate now. He's got the 2 Wall Rider cars in between the 2 best team Lambos. There you see them, the 4 cars right there. 2 sets of teammates. The white Audis battling for 8th spot. The green Lambos battling for 4th. Doge has still got... It's held steady for about 3.5 seconds. Himself and his teammate running pretty similar laps every time by. Maybe a 10th here, 10th there in either direction. Now, last time by, though, X-Ice is able to run almost an identical lap to Austin, but it's not going to be good enough, as that was, I believe, Senile in the background, exiting the woods, carrying too much speed, got into the barrier, however, just the side slam. No harm, no foul. Keep an eye on our leader, K-Dog, through the Parabolica. As we're approaching 11 minutes to go in this race, when does he pit? Now, on more traditional road circuits, we would actually see K-Dog setting his fastest laps right about now. But with the tire wear that we talked about, especially on those left side tires in this race, he's constantly running red deltas. See Senile serving the blue flag respectively, giving K-Dog the faster paced outside line. Waiting for K-Dog to pit to see where that's going to drop him in line. Right now, we really don't have any battles going on for positions. We just have a bunch of guys grouped up. Specifically, that 4-car gaggle that's just now exiting the Parabolica with the 2 sets of teams. The best team and Wall Riders. Though it looks like Doge had a little bit of a slip-up, so now Jaja's gotten into about 4.5 seconds. Doge is still behind Wildebeest. Trying to get the draft, benefit what he can off that lat car. Habab that time flirting with that outside tire barrier, puts his Porsche's left side tires in the grass. Able to keep her under control though. No harm, no foul. X-Ice still 14 seconds behind Austin. He needs Austin to mess up if he wants a shot at this win. But the young man has held solid all race. He's maybe had a little wobble, but he has not had a spin. He's kept that car pointed in the right direction. Feeling great right now in that Ferrari. K-Dog is still yet to pit. We'll see what happens this time around as we approach just under 9 minutes to go. K-Dog staying out. He's just enjoying this open track that he has right now. You see the blue car, that's X-Ice, 3rd place. On the backstretch with our leader, only 3 cars on the lead lap. That will change though when K-Dog pits. And it will not be this time around. Again, K-Dog pushing it to the end. You would think he would want to at least get a good 7-8 minutes on fresh tires. Try to get them at their most maximum, but he's electing to stay out. Feels the track position is more important right now. He's still not doing too bad, though. He's holding within that. You see he was just a 10th over his fastest lap of the race, so he's still running competitive times right now. Actually, let's take a moment right now. Let's see, the fastest lap of the race right now belongs to Barn. He's the only driver to go 46 during the race. We saw a bunch of drivers in the 46s in qualifying. Barn's the only one to do it in the race. So even if Austin can capture the win, he'll be one stat short of a hat trick tonight. Checking in on the young man as he enters Parabolica. At this point, I don't think Austin even cares about the hat trick. He knows what's at stake. K-Dog is going to pit here within the next 5 minutes at some point, and Austin will inherit the lead back as we got Senile, unfortunately, pointed the wrong way of entering turn 1 there. And that's going to be it for Senile. He is going to drop out. That's going to be our third DNF of the race. So tough break for our Orange Cone Racing driver. He will score points for 13th place, though, for making it past the 30-minute mark. Austin looking nice and smooth. Next time around will be the start of lap number 50 of this race. Austin getting around Dre. Not sure which Hot Wheels are, if that's Brian or Wildebeest up there. Next in line through the Parabolica. Alright, K-Dog now. It's gone 50 laps on that set of tires. He's gone 40 minutes on them, including a spin. Will our leader finally come in and pit? He has to pit. There is mandatory pit stop with the tire change. And that also has to happen before the last lap. So we'll see what K-Dog elects to do. At this point, I thought for sure he would have pitted because the tires would not have worn out that quick. He would have fresh tires on low fuel and optimize those those lap times. Now he definitely has Doge covered, so when K-Dog pits, he's still looking at a podium spot. The question will be what K-Dog can do compared to X-Ice. And that's why I thought K-Dog may have already tried to pit. Get those fresh tires, wear them out, get them to their maximum, and see if he can challenge X-Ice, his championship competitor, for second place. Oh, and we just missed it, so the battle for fourth. It was 4.5 seconds earlier, but Doge has been able to catch Jaja, and he has completed the pass. So it moved Doge up to P4, Jaja to P5. Overall, still a good day, though, for the best team. Looking for double top 5 finishes right now. Trying to get themselves into the team points battle. All right, we're looking at 3 minutes to go. K-Dog's running a lower line out of Parabolica, and this is it. He's finally pitting. Woes are down. Comes in and pits on laps number 52. Austin halfway down the backstretch. He's going to inherit the lead. He is clean through Parabolica. K-Dog leaving his pit stall. Here comes X-Ice around Parabolica. X-Ice in a gaggle of lap cars, though. K-Dog at a snail's pace, though. He wants to get on it, but he can't. X-Ice with a full head of steam. And there he goes. X-Ice is going to clip K-Dog, but K-Dog is right there. So with 2 minutes to go, can he get around Dre quick enough? Bring that fight to X-Ice. There he goes. The lap card is cleared. There's less than 2 seconds between our championship contenders. We're under 2 minutes to go. It's about 3 more laps in this race. Austin takes the lead back. He's got 12 seconds. At this point, this young man knows he does not need to push it. He's got a nice wide open track in front of him. At this point, it's just about hitting his marks to bring home his first career win. K-Dog trying to chase down X-Ice. Every spot counts when you're talking about a championship battle this close between two drivers. K-Dog trying to get some slipstream off of his teammate Bubba there. K-Dog getting a good run down the backstretch. It's now a second and a half between himself and the Mercedes. Bubba with a decent run around Parabolica. This is going to allow K-Dog to get that much better of a run. Without a doubt, Bubba is not going to impede his teammate going into turn one. There he goes. He makes the move. K-Dog's going to get by with a full head of steam. Bubba almost did not break enough right there. That was insanely close between the Apex teammates. But no harm, no foul. We got Habab having issues on the backstretch. He just tucks it to the right side. X-Ice now has Habab between himself and K-Dog. It's down to a second. K-Dog makes the move to the inside of the Porsche, but that did scuff off a little bit of speed. That's not what K-Dog wanted. As time runs out, this is white flag. Austin is halfway down the backstretch looking for his first career win. K-Dog is trying to chase down X-Ice. With a second between the drivers, he's going to need X-Ice to have a little bit of a slip. X-Ice looks good coming out of the woods. We're going to jump back up front to our leader. Austin coming out of Parabolica. He's looking smooth. He's on the front stretch, and he is going to do it. Captures the pole. Has an insanely clean race and a fantastic first win as he whips it around. Noses that Ferrari into the wall here in Italy. X-Ice is going to be able to hold K-Dog back, so X-Ice will claim second. K-Dog with third. Those are your championship contenders right there. X-Ice went ahead and makes the killing move. So does K-Dog. They don't want these cars back. They go ahead and destroy them. Now, let's go back to our Lamborghinis. So Doge had issues when we were watching the race up front. Jaja has gotten back around his teammate. And it's still going to be a 4-5 for the best team, but it's going to now be Jaja P4. Doge is going to rack up P5. And here we go. Eyes on the other Mercedes. Barn, the last car on the lead lap. And that's going to be it. He'll round out P6. So we were expecting an insane 45 minutes, and that's exactly what it was. We have a first-time winner. Austin bringing home the checkered. X-Ice second. K-Dog third. We have Lamborghini teammates Jaja and Joge rounding out your top five. Barn, Tommy, Brian, Wildebeest in his debut 9th. Habab ends up 10th. Bubba in 11th. Dre in 12th, the last car running. And then, unfortunately, our 3 DNFs, Senile, Puma, and Drew. Oh, and I cannot save the replay. Not enough room. Son of a bitch. Absolutely nuts. And Senile, my man, I didn't see anything out of you, buddy. You got put in a tough situation early. You had the damage. You had to make the early pit stop. But every time that I saw you on camera frame, buddy, you did the right thing serving the blue flags respectively. So hats off to you. All right, now we just need our guys to hop into Discord, and then we're going to go ahead and get some fresh podium interviews going on. And actually, what's exciting too, I'm looking at it. So on Tuesday nights, we go head to head with the iRacing GTE series. This was their season finale. They had 3 drivers within 1 point, and I see all 3 drivers waiting to be interviewed. So it sounds like they may have swept that podium as well. And I wonder who picked this track, Dre. I wonder. All right,
How's
we
it
got
going?
X-Ice in here. What's up, buddy?
Not too much.
All right, we got K-Dog in here now. Now we need the man of the hour. Where the hell is Austin? I tell you what. All right, while we're waiting for our winner to show up, let's go ahead and get these podium interviews started. So, actually, with both guys, this is a bit of a heavy one. Our championship contenders, we got X-Ice finishing second tonight, K-Dog third. Both having issues with Parabolica tonight that cost themselves the shot at the win. I mean, guys, congrats on the podium finishes, but I can only imagine that you two are kicking yourselves in the ass right now. There's unfortunately no nicer way to put it than that.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best way to put it.
I mean, you both guys had strong cars. You're both having great battles. We saw the first 8 laps or so, it was K-Dog and Barn. And then they actually spun in unison in the Parabolica. And then yourself, X-Ice, you and Austin had an amazing back and forth battle for the lead for the rest of the race. You had your pit stop. You actually were able to gap Austin a little bit from that pit stop, and then just unfortunately she snapped on you. Was it given any indications? Did you have any other near misses in the Parabolica before that?
No, not at all. As soon as I came out of the pits, I don't know if the tire pressures were a little different, but the car felt much better, and I noticed the intervals, my times were much faster, and I just never practiced with a light fuel load at all. And hindsight, I should have turned on a little more traction control, because as soon as I did that, the car was fine the rest of the race. But I didn't realize with that light fuel load, she was going to go around like it did.
Gotcha. That's a tough break, my man. But I mean, the bright side though is looking championship wise, because yourself and K-Dog are just ripping off podiums back and forth this season. So able to come home in second place though. We know there's that drop week, and you both have that non-podium finish. So being able to get that one more spot, man, that's big.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great race tonight. I enjoyed it.
You guys kept me on my toes the entire time. I don't think I've ever talked that much in a broadcast. That was pretty wild. And we'll hear from K-Dog when this goober figures out how to set a push-to-talk button on this new PRL Discord server.
Yeah, I had to figure that out too. I'm using my phone, so 3 little dots in the corner. That'll do it.
There you go. And I see Austin is in the Game of Joe's Discord. So I tell you what. Well, X, my man, I know you don't want to sit there and harp on second place, so if you want to call it a night, man, again, that was a heartbreaker to see that spin, but you had a hell of a drive and a hell of a race, and hats off to you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And, good job. Good job, K-Dog, and congrats, Austin. First victory. He did really well. So last couple races in that Ferrari were good for him.
Absolutely. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and swap Discord channels then. K-Dog, if you want to follow me over to Job's, we'll go ahead and tackle Austin. And then next time, for everybody out there listening to Twitch, get in this PRL Discord. This is where we'll have all future interviews going on. No, Austin! Austin, you son of a bitch! Austin, get back! See, K-Dog, you scared him away. It's all your fault.
It ain't my fault.
So we got to give the fans what they want. I know you don't want to talk about it. What happened, I believe, on lap 7 or 8? You and Barnes were side by side. Was it just you cut in at a different angle than you were used to that whipped your Acura around, or was it curb, or because I was riding with Barn and then we saw his spin, so it was kind of a weird camera angle.
It was most likely the angle of how I went into the turn. And around she went. I barely tapped the brake to see if I can try and keep it off the wall, and that actually helped it go around even more. And then it just ensued from there, and I had to wait for everybody to go by.
Yeah, that's the crappy thing about tight circuits like this is, and we saw it with Doge on the first lap, is, you know, when you find yourself in trouble, then you find yourself waiting a while for it to clear up. All right. We've got it coordinated. We got Austin back in. So let's talk to the man of the hour. Austin, this young man capturing his first career win. Congratulations, my man.
Yeah. I was worried.
Speechless. I love it. Well, let's talk earlier in this race. So you got yourself swallowed up a little bit on the start. You were the pole sitter. You found yourself running back and forth. And then all of a sudden, K-Dog and Barn had their unison spins. And now you see yourself duking it out with Excise for a good 20-plus laps. Let's talk about that battle. Are you guys going back and forth?
Yeah, it was earlier this week. Me and him did like a really long battle, so we raced against each other. But yeah, that was probably the funnest battle I've had in the league. Like, that was really good racing, battling. You know, it
was absolutely fantastic. You guys took up a ton of the camera time. That's for sure. Now let's talk about it though. So pit cycles come. You and Excise just duked it out for 20 laps. Now you find yourselves a couple seconds behind. So probably a little disheartening, but you know you have pace. All of a sudden, what's going through your head as you pass through Parabolica and you see a blue Mercedes spun out on the inside?
I'm like, hell yeah. Well, I knew he was faster. Like, the Mercedes is so fast on the straights. And I had a feeling he was a little bit faster race pace than me. But yeah, I knew once he had spun, if I didn't make a mistake, I was gonna get it. But yeah, I was worried that he was gonna come, in front of me or whatever, and I was gonna get involved. But it all worked out.
It all worked out. And then let's talk about it, because I've been in your shoes, man. You get that final 5 minutes of the race. You're behind K-Dog, but you know you had to pit, and you were easily going to inherit the lead. When did the butterfly set in, and when did you realize you had to focus a little bit more and make sure you're hitting your braking points just right?
Well, really, whenever there was a lot of lap traffic and a lot of wrecks in the first part, and so I was in a party, and so, I just wanted to make sure I got through there cleanly. Those last 5 laps, and no one was going to spin. I was going to get involved. But yeah, I was pretty nervous. Because after last week, I know anything can happen.
Absolutely. But, I mean, you fought through the nerves. You got those first-time jitters out of the way. And, my man, you are a winner and not only that, to get your first win at Monza, a historic track like that. That was an absolutely fantastic drive you had, my man. You definitely earned it tonight. Congratulations on a great win. All right, Twitchland. There you go. Let's give it up. Your winner, first time in his career, Austin. And then our championship contenders, Excise second, K-Dog in third. Gentlemen, hats off and fantastic race tonight.